Hi guys, as you remember, November is Career Development Month, and so today we are going to talk with Jen Tarnowski, who is going to tell us a little bit about who she is and what she does, and talk a little about her journey getting here. So Jen, will you go ahead and tell us a little bit about what your job title is, how long you've been here at Rape Response, and then what has been your professional journey getting here?
Absolutely. So again, thank you, Brittany. My name is Jen Tarnowski, and I am the Advocacy Director here at Rape Response. I have been here for about 3 years in a number of different capacities. I started here as a contract educator, going into the school system, providing education to middle and high school students. And then I was a campus advocate, and I worked with the 6 different universities on the 9 campuses in our 6 counties. And then I am fortunate enough now to be the Advocacy Director, where I work with a wonderful team of advocates providing direct services to survivors of sexual assaults.
What has been your professional journey getting here? So where did you start out? What did you major in college? And then what different positions have you held getting to here at Rape Response?
So after I graduated with my psychology degree, I started working for Covenant House, and Covenant House is a crisis shelter for youth under 21. And I worked at their shelter that was in Fort Lauderdale and had a variety of different jobs while I was there. Loved the different experiences that I had working with all types of youth. So after we moved to Georgia, I did enjoy time spending being at home with my kids. I did have the opportunity to work at our church preschool where our kids went, and then really stepped out of my comfort zone and worked in youth ministry at our church that I was active in. So it gave me really a wide variety of experiences while I was spending time with my kids. So after we moved up to North Georgia, I really wanted to explore what other options I had with getting back into the field of social work. And so through a community partner who works with Rape Response, I applied for a position working as a contract educator here at Rape Response. And it was kind of giving me an opportunity to kind of explore, was this a field I really wanted to go back into? Was this services I wanted to provide? And I just loved it more than I could imagine. So that kind of started me into this, just doing part-time work. And I realized very quickly that I loved the mission of Rape Response and loved what it did, and saw the impacts that this agency has for survivors, and really just wanted to be part of this full-time. And so I was fortunate enough to apply for another position when a full-time position came open, and the rest is history.
Awesome. So I know that you said that you had spent a little bit of time away from the social service field. You spent some time at the Covenant House, which was social service related, and then you worked at a preschool and then did some youth ministry and then ended up coming back to victim services and social work. Do you feel like taking that time off and having those other experiences first prepared you a little bit more and gave you a little bit more insight on how to better serve survivors? And do you feel like that time off in a way did kind of help you to realize social services is where your heart is at?
Absolutely. So several things. I feel like having the variety of experiences really let me have, dip my foot in the pool, so to speak, and to see, was this really what I wanted to do long term? I love spending time with little kids. I love spending time with middle school and high school youth. Wonderful experiences. Didn't know if that's what I wanted to do full time. So kind of coming up and starting in the education field, I kind of felt like I was jumping from doing youth ministry with that same population, but using my social work background. And once I got here, I was like, this is where I want to be. So it really gave me some good opportunities to kind of look outside and see what else was out there. And was this truly where my heart was?
That's really cool. So what would you say is your favorite part about your job here at Rape Response?
I think there's 2 different parts. One, I love working with the staff that we have. We have an incredible staff who are committed to being here for our survivors, and I love their commitment. The second part of it is I love to be able to be a support for somebody when they're going through probably one of the toughest times in their life, and that they're trusting me and our staff to be a support for them. That just makes my heart swell. And really, it's an honor and a privilege to be able to be there for somebody during one of the toughest times.
So I know a lot of times people will say, you know, when they hear that someone is in the victim services field, especially with survivors of sexual assault, I feel like one of the most common responses that we get to that is, wow, that must be really tough work. What is kind of your go-to response when people kind of have that thought and have that response?
Absolutely. And yes, it is a hard field to be in, but it's worth every minute of it. And in our field, a lot of what we do is we are not focusing on the trauma that happened, but opening up the door for healing for that survivor. So, somebody will say often, gosh, how do you do that? And I said, it really is, and I'll say it again, an honor and a privilege that somebody trusts me enough to be there for one of the most difficult times. And so for me, I look at it on the positive side is focusing on the hope and healing and not the trauma aspect of it.
Thank you so much for answering that question. I know that that's definitely one that we hear a lot. And like you said, it can be really difficult work, but it is very rewarding. So, what advice would you give to someone if they are interested in exploring the victim services field? Maybe they're not sure if this is something they want to do, or maybe they are 100% positive. Yeah, this is what I want. What advice would you give to somebody who is wanting to do this for a living?
I would really encourage somebody um, to perhaps volunteer first, to kind of get their foot in the door and see if this is what they really want to do. There's a lot of training, some webinars that are all free, and really give somebody truly an idea of, is this something that's a good fit for me? And it's not a good fit for everybody, and that's okay. But to have that experience to say, yes, I've done this, and this is where my heart is, I would really encourage somebody to kind of get their foot in the door and see how they can be a help.
Well, that's great advice. Thank you so much, Jen, for taking the time to talk with us today. Tell us a little about your professional journey. If you guys think that this is something that you're interested in, I know she mentioned volunteering, please feel free to call us at any time. You can call us at 770-503-7273, or feel free to visit our website, raperesponse.com. Thank you guys, and make sure that you stay tuned for the rest of our series.